Welcome to our real estate podcast where we spill all the tea in realty. I'm Melissa Bailey and this is my co-host, Athena Woods. Join us each week where we blind respond to situations that are going on in real estate and tell you how we'd handle them in our business.
And hopefully we get a little education and have a little fun.
Absolutely. And I'm drinking rose black tea today. What kind of tea do you have?
Well, today's blend is going to be a English breakfast. And of course I do it like the English do with a splash of non-dairy cream. Splash.
Okay. All right. What you got for me today?
All right. So today's topic is going to be closing issues. So things that are related to closing of a deal. Our first story is going to come from my friends at Reddit, Real Estate. And this one is titled, Buyer Pays for Home Repairs Before Closing? All right. They say, hi all. I'm a first-time home buyer under contract on a fixer-upper in a prime location. The house is being sold as is by a bank, so a judiciary sale. Because the house is in such disrepair, my bank won't approve the loan unless some safety-related repairs are made. They're going to equal about $5,000. Prior to closing, example, fix roof leaks, gutter that's falling down, rotted trim on the back deck. I've tried negotiating with the seller, aka the bank, to cover the costs by upping my purchase price of the home, but they won't accept that. I've also asked if they could cover the costs up front and I'd pay them back at closing. Still won't accept. They want me to pay for the repairs needed by my bank in order to go to closing. Should I walk away from this deal? Should I pay the $5,000 to make the repairs and hope that the underwriter approves so we can close? How risky is this situation? This home is in my dream location that I would not be able to afford without the house being a major fixer-upper. Would love to know if anyone else has been in a similar situation before.
What the actual fuck?
Right.
First of all, is there a real estate agent involved? And if not, this person should have never embarked on such a risky situation on their own. We always try to guide our first-time homebuyers to the newest home possible for their budget, because you have no idea what it's like being a homeowner until you're a homeowner. And it is extremely risky to pay for repairs on something that you don't own and is not typically allowed by any lending institution in this country.
Exactly. So the top comment on this post was essentially, walk away. Yeah. Shame on the agent for not pointing out the potential issue before you even made an offer. Now, it sounds like they may or may not have an agent involved. They don't say, so we obviously don't know that detail. But 100% terrible plan.
And this is why, as a first-time homebuyer, it is so important that you work with an agent that can guide you. Not your mom, not your dad, not your friends, not someone that's been through it before. The market shifts and twists and turns all the time. So you have to work with a professional that knows what's going on in the current market.
All right. So moving right along to our next goodie. This one actually made me laugh because we are kind of dealing with something like this. So I just thought it was pretty comical since it's something we've seen. All right, so this one is also from the Real Estate Reddit, and it is titled, Buyers Switched to FHA from Conventional 4 days before closing.
That's a little late.
Yeah. This is asking for my grandfather, who was selling his home. Closing date was set for this Friday, but he was just informed yesterday that buyer switched to an FHA loan. His agent informed him as soon as she was told, and the inspector was supposed to show up again today, but he never did. and his agent can't get a hold of the buyers or their agent. What, if anything, does he have to protect himself? He's already removed everything from the house, except for a chair and a TV, and already purchased another place to live. And with the closing date being pushed back to a date him nor his agent know, he now has to pay bills in 2 locations.
Well, you want to try to get it closed as soon as possible, and the buyer hasn't defaulted if they still qualify for a loan, even though it's FHA and not conventional. Hi, Aurora!
Oh, you saying hi. Sorry, that baby wants to say hi.
Baby wants to say hi. You gotta let her in. So, depends on what state they're in, if the seller has rights. If it's here in Arizona, there's nothing that the seller can do because the seller can't cancel it without repercussions here. So they would just have to wait. It's not an inspector that needs to come back. It's probably an appraiser. And those are 2 different things.
Right.
Because you have to have an FHA appraisal or a conventional appraisal. They're 2 different things. If they already had the conventional appraiser, it might be an easy switch. And that appraiser might be able to switch it over to the new funding, but there's different guidelines for each different loan.
Right.
We just had this happen. The seller gave us pushback, but here in Arizona in the contract, it says that the buyer has the option of what kind of loan product they use.
Right.
So we weren't in default, and we did have to wait to do a little bit more negotiating until our appraisal came in as is, because the seller's agent was concerned there would be repairs required with an FHA loan.
Right, of course. I thought that it was a little odd. I was reading this, and of course, I had just finished this school. So I'm like reading this going, why on earth would they be able to get a hold of the buyers? You don't talk to them. You don't talk to the person. Yet, for some reason, that's something that stuck out to me. I was like, okay, this person has no idea how it actually works, but just thought it was a little funny. And, because our situation was vastly different, obviously not 4 days prior to closing. I don't know what state this is in. They don't really disclose that information. So, I mean, it was kind of just hey, that's similar to what we face.
Are uniform nationally. So repairs and other guidelines that go with an FHA loan, it wouldn't matter what state you're in, as long as they could fulfill all of their loan contingencies. But the only thing that comes up for me is, is that FHA loan going to require any additional repairs? And that would be established by the appraiser.
Of course, yeah. Oh, I love appraisers.
We love
tough job. I don't think I would ever want to do that job.
No.
To be that person. This one hit a little close to home for me.
Okay.
But, all right. So this one is titled Water Softeners and Water Filtration Systems. Are they permanently installed / built-in items? Now, the Redditor said, found a home with a water softener and water filtration system in the garage. I had made an offer based on the assumption that they would stay. Seller disclosure agreement states that permanently installed and built-in items, such as water softeners, would stay. My realtor said that the seller will be taking the water filtration system. Can those items stay?
Well, I mean, that's specific to the contract that the listing agent has with the sellers. And any items that are going to stay in the home should be predetermined. That should have been something that person discussed with their agent prior to making the offer. We are very good on our team about scouring the MLS and making sure what stays. So appliances are not fixtures. And a water softener can be considered an appliance, so it would not necessarily be required to stay. So what's your experience with the water softener?
So my husband and I, we bought a new build house, and I had dropped about $8,000 on a water softener and RO filter system. We ended up selling that house, and in the process of selling that house, we had to basically backtrack because we weren't aware. Obviously, we were first-time home buyers, we were first-time home sellers, and our agent kind of didn't really give much direction in that, and we ended up going under contract with our neighbor. He bought our house to make it a rental, and we basically had to have multiple conversations just trying to agree that we could take the water softener but leave an RO system. So we had to pay hundreds of dollars to get the water loop closed and then move the water softener to our new house and then pay to get it installed at the new house. But the contract thing and the trying to communicate with the agent, and luckily because we knew it was our neighbor buying the house, it was kind of a little bit easier because we could have that communication with him. But yeah, it was very, very hairy situation with my water softener because I was not going to leave it at that house.
So if you're listing a home, make sure that you tell your agent what you want to leave and what you're taking with you. So if you have a brand new $1,000 washer and dryer and you don't want to leave it, do not put that in the listing. If you have a Samsung refrigerator that connects to your iPhone and you're not taking it with you, make sure that you list it. Now, that doesn't mean that a buyer's not going to ask for it, but that means you need to carefully review the contract with your agent when it comes in so you know what your bargaining chips are. Appliances are not fixtures of the home.
Right. So luckily, this particular story had an update. So the update is the seller's signed contract did not list the system under exclusions. A big oversight by sellers and their realtor. The system was financed. They had $9,000 left to pay off. Sellers insisted on taking it or have me take over the lease. Their contract stated that the water softener had to stay. I called the financing company for the system. They explained that the house would not be able to sell unless it was paid off. It's a type of lien. And because they financed in the seller's name, I can't take over the lease. At sale, however, the title company pays the leasing company in full. So their options were to cancel, negotiate, or go to small claims court. We negotiated and added $2,000 to the home price. So it ended up working out for him.
That's a good solution.
Why are you hitting me?
They ended up paying for it, and then it got paid off at title at close of escrow.
Yeah.
Just make sure you're looking at these items that are in the home and seeing what you include in your contract when you make your purchase offer if you're a buyer, and when you're a seller, make sure you establish with your listing agent what's staying in the home.
Okay.
Bananas. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate you all being here so that we can chat about these real estate issues. Please comment and like and subscribe. And if you have any questions or situations that you'd like us to address, just drop it in the comments below.